Hi, everyone. I'm Gretchen Heido, Master Certified Coach through the International Coaching Federation, and you are here at our Business Building SIG, Special Interest Group. What I like to focus on are the ways for you to be able to build a profitable living as a coach through service rather than anything that's kind of sleazy or creepy, and really help you get down the art of your client enrollment conversations. As most of you know, I'm super interactive when I am here and talking with all of you. This is going to be as great as all of us make it. I would love to ask for all of you to turn on your camera. I know a couple of you said that you can't, no problem, but science really shows that you will be more engaged and present if your camera is on. And you all came here today for a reason, for a purpose. Put in the chat, what is your reason for being here today? Let's just hear from a few of you. And that chat should be lighting up like popcorn. What is your reason for joining this special interest group today? All right, here we go. So, some questions to grow the business, connecting with others, building their business community, finding the kinds of clients who I feel called to work with, learning techniques to attract and land new clients, additional strategies to level up my business. Fantastic. And I see that there's more here, so we'll just keep letting those come in. Today, what I want to do, we have talked a lot this year about the coaching connection conversation. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to demo that for you. And I want you to be watching as a coach, not the client. And here's what I want you to be listening for. I want you, and I haven't even chosen anyone yet. One of you is going to be on the hot seat. Get ready. I'm just going to call on you and ask you to do it. But here's what happens. We meet a potential client. We send them an email with usually three questions, something like, what would you like to have happen in your life in the next 6 to 12 months, both personally and professionally? What have you tried? What's been hard about it? One more question. What's at risk if this doesn't happen for you? As we do that, what I find is that those are the people that if they answer those questions and then you invite them to a connection call, not a coaching call, but a connection call where you are getting deeper information on them. This is where you are auditioning them and seeing if they're a good fit for you, and you're seeing if you are a good fit for them. But a lot of you haven't done it this way, or you've never heard it before. And so we've talked about it, session after session that we've been doing these business building SIGs. But I thought today, why don't I show it to you? I'm just going to show this to you. We're going to play. What I am always listening for is what is this person's big vision? And the reason for that is there's going to be some key points here where I'm going to be doing reflective and active listening, acknowledgement, drawing the client out more. But at the end, where I'm going to say it really sounds like your vision is X, Y, and Z. Because that's going to help the potential client make some decisions about, did I hear them right? Did I really get to the essence of who they are and what they're wanting? Now, for whoever I demo with, there's going to be a part after we do this for a few minutes where I'm going to say, what kind of questions do you have for me? Give it to me hard. Ask me about money. Ask me about how I work. Like, really do the thing if you were my client. So you're the only one potential client who is not acting as a coach today. I really want you just to be in this potential client seat. And then we're going to come back and you're going to get to ask me questions about my choices, questions about why I did some of the things that I did. And then at the end of this today, I actually have a great resource for you. I thought about all of you and how many times we've gone over this pre-email, and then what do you say on the connection call, and then how do you invite them then to a coaching conversation, and then what do you do on that coaching conversation? So you know what I did? I put it all together and I'm going to give it to you today. I hadn't had that before. You guys really inspired me, and it's something that I've been wanting to do. Thanks for the hearts, Layla. But that's what I'm going to just drop into the chat for you at the end. You can use it. I'm calling it scripts. I don't want you to read it word for word. It's mainly meant as like starters. So just use it as a starter for yourself. I hope that it's helpful to you. But I was really thinking about you as this community that we've all been together and traveled, and I've been hearing what's on your mind. And what I'm hoping for 2025 is that we can move out of some of these sorts of questions and maybe into more of the actual client creation, not the nuts and bolts of how do you do it, but where you can bring things to this session and we can role play and we can get into the meat and potatoes of what it is that you're needing instead of all of the basics. So I'm ready for us to kind of up level a little bit for next year. And I think that these scripts are going to help you do that. Sound good? Okay, Nina, you're my demo. You already knew you were, right? Yeah, I know.
Totally knew it.
I'm like, you knew and I knew, so it was either you or Layla, but it's gonna be Nina. So here's the way I'm gonna set this up. Nina and I met at a networking event. That's the stage for this. We kind of did. We met at an ICFLA event, but we met at a networking event. She's already answered the questions. She hasn't, but that's where we're dropping in. This is her and I on our Zoom call for the first time for connection. You are listening. What are the things that she really wants? What are you hearing? What's hard for her? What's important to her? Take your own notes, be paying attention. What this isn't is a coaching session. I'm not going to coach her around a topic, outcome, and measurement. That's not what we're doing here. There's not going to be accountability at the end. These are not the things that are happening. This is chemistry. Are Nina and I a good fit? I am interviewing her as much as she is interviewing me. And what I want you all to know as coaches is it's important for you to hold your frame. You are interviewing the client. Not every potential client is a good client for you. Think of it like dating. You don't marry them all, right? You don't marry them all. You don't even want to date them all. After coffee, you're like, nope, never again. That's the same thing as with this. And sometimes it's, yeah, I'd go to dinner. So let's see if Nina and I are going to go to dinner. That's all that this call is. I'm trying to get to the point where I can offer her an actual coaching session. It's still not a paid session. It's part of my process, but that's where you're dropping in. That's your framework. Nina, you and I already know this and we've done one of these before, so I thought it would be easy. Are you okay to do this with me today?
Definitely. But can I be myself as if,
I would really like you to. I was just going to ask you, are you comfortable with that and being yourself? Because I know I completely put you on the spot.
yeah, yeah, I'm fine with this. I love role plays and demos. Like, this is my
Great.
favorite thing to do. So it's great.
Okay, fantastic. So, Nina, thank you for sending in your answers to the questions. Here's what's going to happen today. We're going to spend a little bit of time together. I want to get to know you deeper and see if coaching is a good fit for the situation that you're going through right now and the things that you're wanting to achieve. And there's going to be a lot of time for you to ask me questions as well so that we can make sure that anything that's on your mind, you leave with an answer.
Sure.
Sound
Thank you.
good?
Great.
Yeah. Okay. So, first thing I'm really wondering about, when I was reading through here, tell me more about what it is that you're wanting to create for yourself in 2025.
So in I'm going to give a little bit of background of where I've gone in 2024. So in
Sure.
2024, I really feel proud of my process and the way I've been talking to clients and following a certain model, and it's been working very well. But what I want for 2025 is is more of it, and I want higher paying. I want to be in rooms with higher paying clients.
Okay.
I have a slight vision of how that looks, but I'm not sure. So that's number one is be in a bigger room, bigger clients, bigger rooms. And I
Yeah.
think that so that's number one. And then number two, let's see. Oh, number two is I've been putting together a course and I want it to launch. The course is pretty much done, and actually there's now a second version of a course, and I want those to actually launch. So what I want to work on is seed money, is like investors possibly.
Okay. Congratulations. Congratulations there. That's a big deal to have a course and to
Yeah,
get it going. So far I'm hearing, you've tried some things in 2024 that have kind of elevated where you are as a coach. And we've talked before, so I know a little bit about this, but you're ready to be in a bigger room to serve a different audience that you can command a different price fee for.
exactly.
Okay. And then the second part of this is the course, finding some seed money for it. And is there a third thing that you're wanting to do?
Yeah, the third thing is I love coaching, but I also realize that how much I like doing deals. Like I love I didn't used to think I like sales, but I love it now. And so I want to do, I know.
I love that.
Want to do more of it. Like I want to put together like people, I want to, and I want to be being paid for this. Like I want to figure out ways to be involved in more deals. So maybe that also means working with certain clients who are going to bring me in. And I don't know how to, I don't know what that actually looks like, but I just realized this a couple days ago, how exciting it is when I get to introduce people and then I get to like hear about their thing growing. Then I thought, why don't I just be part of it?
Love it. So I love how you're going with your natural grain, that it's this part of you that you're in the flow with who you really are, realizing that you love sales. You want to be a part of the deal. And so, especially when you're introing people and helping them with the deal, why not be a part of that? Why
Exactly.
not?
I
Okay,
made
so
two
yeah.
intros this week.
Say
I made two introductions this week, and I mean, I don't know if those people. I hope they meet in person. I mean, I hope they actually connect. But I just feel so proud, like of being a connector, and it's something I like. I love. It's
I
so
can
fun.
see it. Yeah, I can see it on your face. And this is good too, because I think some of what you practiced in 2024, as far as it goes with, your own clients and the sale there, you really did learn how to elevate in that way. We had some texting conversations
Yeah,
about your clients and the types of prices that you were bringing in. And now I can hear that you're like staking this claim of now it's going to be elevated even more. Plus, I'm going to have this course and this is it, I'm going to make the deal for myself for the seed money, right? So there's one of the deals. And PS, if I can help other people broker deals and get brought along and make some money on that too, why not?
exactly. And I don't want to feel badly about liking and making a like earn. I like earning money. I like spending it too, but I really like earning it. I like feeling proud of myself with money. And that's something I didn't used to be able to admit, but now
Yeah.
it's something I enjoy.
Huh. Okay.
I enjoy admitting.
Yeah. Well, and what a shift, about this part from feeling guilty to no longer feeling guilty, even though I can still feel that there's a friction point there. You might not be completely guilt-free yet, but to be able to say, I actually enjoy making money and getting paid for what I do. There's a high value in the people that I serve and what I do as a living, and I should be paid for that and being okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay, but it sounds like that if we did work together, there's still a little bit there with the guilt that we would want to take a look at and kind of unwind.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything else? Go ahead.
Yeah, like with regard to the guilt sometimes comes from like saying no or saying yes to certain things and like there's the should. So we don't need I know where the purpose of our call right now isn't to get into the why or all these other things, but I'll give you a little bit right here, and that is sometimes I feel badly if I take care of myself. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's where the friction is.
Nina, this is really interesting. I work with a lot of A-type women who are ambitious and have a bias towards anxiety. And here's the deal. I call this self-abandonment. We're in integrity with everybody else. If we said we were going to do it, we would do it. We're going to walk over the hot coals, even if we don't feel like it, but that's going to get done. If we say it for ourselves, we don't always do it. We say yes when we mean no to other people. We do all these things, but we don't always follow through on us. And so it's a self-abandonment, self-integrity issue. And then guilt is one of the symptoms that comes from it.
That really resonates.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anything else I should know?
Well, I had this big idea, another big idea last week. I was talking to I've been doing a lot of networking and it's been feeling
Mhm.
really, really great. And during our this person's networking call, we had this like idea, and then I told my business partner about it, and we were like, let's just do it. And so I've tried to reach out to the other person to say like we should all do this, but I've started doing like preliminary research on this idea too because it could be huge. I think.
Okay.
I mean, it just so I don't know. I just what I'm getting at is I just feel right now like there's so many ideas. It's a really creative popping time for myself, and it feels great.
I
And
can see it.
Yeah, like maybe a year ago I was like not in this spot, but I want to hold on to this and like keep this
Yeah,
like
keep it
this.
all elevated and up there. It's interesting because I think you and I did talk probably right about a year ago, maybe a
Yes, I
little
think so.
less,
I think
and
a little
a
less, but
little bit less, but you're right. This energy that you have right now is vastly different than when we talked before. What added to this creative popping time for you? What made that possible?
good question. Let's see. Oh, I know. Leaving my house. So I started going, so I love to exercise and I started going to a gym 3 days a week. And so just leaving my house for an hour a day and having contact with other women, like literally strong and also strong women has been helping just leaving the house because then in the morning, because then I come back and I can work, but I've already had like social contact. So having more social contacts has been really huge for me because I still have to work from home and I like it. Oh, also getting another, so I have two roommates now. I used to only have one, and my new roommate is like very outgoing and like we talk a lot and we love talking, going to concerts together. And so we've been doing more together. So it's really connection with other people that has helped me, that has really changed a lot of things for me. And it's made me more creative in like my work.
Yeah. And there's the word connection again, right? So that's sort of the theme in this call is all of the connection, whether it's connecting to the higher paying clients, connecting people together to make business deals, you connecting to others to make your own business deal. Sounds like 2025 is your year of connection.
I think so. Yeah, that's I'm gonna write that down. Yep.
Okay, okay. So this call is as much for me as it is for you, just to see, is coaching something that could help? And what I'm hearing is you've got a big year ahead of you. Lot of different great ideas. You're popping like popcorn with that creativity. And you're really alive right now. This is not the same version from last year. Like you are alive and activated. And so I just want to commend you for that. The other part too is that, okay, the anchors that are holding you back, there's still something there about guilt. There's still something there about money. There's still probably some mindsets that are coming up for you with that negative self-talk, that those are the anchors, the undercurrent that are going to make this that you can't maybe go as fast as you would like to. What else is something that you feel might hold you back from some of these things that you're saying that you want?
Something that always holds me back is feeling like not trusting myself that I know. Like
Mm.
what I mean is I don't know how, or I tell myself I don't know how. Conversely, when I tell myself I can figure it out, I do. So right now, if we're talking about like being in bigger rooms, like my first instinct to say I don't know where to go. Like, should I go to a networking group? Where would I go? But I don't think that's actually true. I think I would know how to find one. I do know how to find one.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's
Um,
like the old way versus the new way, right? Old
exactly.
operating system versus new operating system.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Just because of time, we're going to kind of pause right there. And I want to open it up for any questions that you might have for me.
Okay.
What are you wondering about?
So, have you worked with coaches before?
I've worked with dozens of coaches. One of the things that I'm known for is actually being the coach's coach. I got coined that in a magazine, not mistakenly, but I was surprised by it and thought, oh, yeah, okay, I guess I do that. But I love working with coaches. I really love the creativity that happens and the legacy work that we're all doing as we change the one person in front of us. We're a small part of that, and they go out and change people, right? So, yes, very comfortable with working with coaches.
Okay, good. I thought so, but then I just wanted to ask. Let's see. Um, what is your fee?
So I'm glad that you're asking that. Tell me a little bit about what it is that you think that you're wanting before I tell you about the fee, just so
Okay.
that we can make sure we're on the same page.
So I forgot to mention I'm in an MCC program and it's going really well. And so
Congratulations.
it's going great. That's another thing that has aided in my in everything being better. So what I would want is maybe a few coach a few of my recorded calls to be reviewed in my coaching, possibly. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if it's possible. Um, I would like coaching. Ideally, I think I would like to have a coach that would be my coach for at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I've been working with somebody who's been getting her MCC and it's been great, but I think I would like something maybe more consistent and a year because I think I would like to harness this energy and like have my coach like witness it and help me along with that for the year. I would like I would like to be able to talk about my big ideas and have my coach say like and then and what and now and what and let's keep going and growing rather than well how are you going to do that really
Mm.
and no one has said that but I don't want that so I know what I do want.
Okay. So I'm hearing a year. A year sounds very supportive to you. Here's some of the things I'm going to throw out there for you, and let's talk it through. When I coach coaches and they want a year, a lot of times I take them through like my coaching mentorship program. And what do I mean by that? That this is where it's kind of behind the scenes working with me. You learn everything that I've done in my business to be successful, way beyond the six-figure mark, that sort of thing, just financially. You get access to any program that I do, whether it's one for coaches or not. I have a lot of live events, a lot of different things that I'm doing that I do with women, that I do with business owners, that I do. So you'd have access to all of those programs. For the coaching programs that I do, we would decide, do you want to be a participant or do you want to be my right hand and learn the ins and outs of how you run that kind of a group? How you enroll that kind of a group, like what you do there. It's something that's very helpful for coaches that are budding in the way that you are. Might be something that you want, it might not, depending on these other business deals that you're thinking about, but that's something. There are mentorship hours built in if you need those for your 10 hours for any kind of ICF renewal, or if it's just something that you want me to listen to your recordings. I am an approved mentor, so that's not a problem. And then there's the coaching, right? And so you get that individual coaching as well. I also say that when I'm working with someone in this capacity for a year, that I'm in your back pocket. You need some in-between support, great, text me. You want another call? No problem. We do it. If there's stuff that you want me to review, I'll look at it. I do some coaching and consulting in this kind of an arena. And so for you, because we're talking about this, I would say that my highest recommendation, because it's the one that you're asking for, would be that we do work together for a year. But, before we would even go there, can I walk you through my requirements?
Mhm.
Okay, so the first one is that you have a level of readiness. I'm hearing that you're finally here. We got that rubber band. It is pulled back and you are ready to go. But I just want to double check with you, Nina, with everything else that you have on your plate, financial constraints, living circumstances, whatever it might be, is this a good time for a year-long commitment in coaching? Because life is going to change. Like if we coach together, things get different.
Mhm. Yes, I feel ready.
You seem very, very ready. Okay. The next one is the commitment level. Are you committed? It's more than just about your finances. It's also about you being able to follow through, you being the one that's going to show up on time, ready to go, prepared, and you being the one to make your results happen.
Um, I'm calling that self-motivation. Um,
Yeah.
I think I am, yeah.
Again, you seem it. It's very different than when we talked however many months ago it was. You seem like you're in a different place where you probably are a bit more ready. And then the third thing is we coach. I would love to coach you for an hour. It's part of my business process to make sure that before we sign up for something like a year agreement, you're comfortable with the kind of coaching that I do, and I'm comfortable with the kind of client that you are. We take this call, and this is sort of just the getting to know you. But what we do is we really go forward in a deeper way and we see, can we get you some movement in that call? Do things change for you from that coaching? And then from there, we decide, is the year the right thing? Is it 6 months? Do you even like it? All of that. Was it helpful to you?
I mean, that sounds great. I would love to do that.
Okay. Okay. So what
I have
I'd
a,
say,
I actually do. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I
go
have
ahead.
a question. Um, Sometimes when I'm the client, I do cry or I do like emote, and are you comfortable with that?
100%. I wouldn't expect anything less. We wouldn't be doing coaching right if that didn't happen.
Okay.
Because especially in a year together, because we're going to do soul line and goal line.
Okay.
It's not just going to be about all these things that you want, the money that you want to make. It's going to be about who you're being. And this is why in the year program, it's the being that changes and that's going to support those goals.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that's really important to me that I'm able to show my true self and we don't just talk about like surface level things.
100%. Do you have other questions? Any other concerns?
Um, You mentioned that if I were to do the year-long program, I could choose to be like your right hand or a participant. Can I choose based on program, or do I have to decide one like from the
Oh,
beginning?
100%. And I would also make recommendations to you along the way. Like I'm thinking of one of the programs I have starting in 2 weeks. That one, I would only want you to participate. The
Okay.
one that I have coming up for coaches starting in January, I think right hand, you're ready for it. You're ready
Okay,
for
got
your
it.
own up level. So yes, but we talk about it and you get to change your mind too. If we feel like, oh,
Okay.
you know what, you should participate instead, we do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, Nina, we're going to close it right there just for the example. Thank you. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for being
Thank
such an
you.
excellent demo. Okay, coaches, let's open this up for conversation and questions. I'll take yours first, then I'm going to ask you a few. But what are you already wondering?
How much time do you like there not to lapse between when they do this coaching call?
Oh, I would want to coach her tomorrow, the next day, just as soon as we could get it on the calendar. She's hot. She's ready to go. Yeah. What else? What are you wondering? What did you see in that?
Well, I'll tell you what I observed, which was a qualification. She asked the money question. You thanked her for answering the money question, but you didn't actually answer the money question. Instead, you very skillfully assessed what she's really looking for by first describing what the different options are that you provide. So providing that menu for myself, I think can be really useful because then it helps the person identify what they really want before they hear about a price, and they're probably more likely to commit it to it.
Good, Tim. Good notice there. It's not that I won't answer her money question. 100% I will. But to answer it before we've really gone over my requirements as a coach makes no sense. And before I didn't know that she wanted a year. In my head, I would have wanted to pitch her 6 months, but she said I want a year. So it's like, okay, yeah, and then she said she needs recordings. Then she says all this stuff about emotions. And it's like the program that I'm thinking then becomes bigger. Now, when I make what it would sound like, though, let's say that she would have asked me again, so Gretchen, what do you think? I would have said, okay, so my highest recommendation is that we do work together for a year, lay everything out for her. And if she asked the price, I'd give it to her. She will 100% say, that is a lot of money and I don't know. I'd say, yeah, it is. And I only want you to do it if you're 100% sure it's going to work for you. Let's coach. You don't know yet. Let's coach. I don't know if it's going to work for you. I prefer to not have to get into the money until they've done the coaching because money really trips people up and then they're just thinking of the price tag. They get very, very nervous. Where after they've experienced it, it's like, oh yeah, it's still a lot of money, but they can see it more. They felt it.
And at what point in that hour-long follow-on conversation with prospective clients do you allow it to go if you kind of know it's maybe not a fit for you?
Hmm.
How long do you allow it to go?
For the coaching session,
Hmm.
yeah. So if I already know it's not a good fit for me, I'm not going to go very long in this session. That's the truth. And I won't offer them that session. If I didn't catch it in this connection call, because I'm not coaching in this, if I didn't catch it in this connection call, or I was like, let's just try it out, and I get to the next session and it's like, I'm still going to give them the whole coaching call. because that's what I said I was going to do, and that's part of my integrity. What I'm not going to do is offer for us to work together. Instead, if the person is asking me about working together, I'll say, based on where we went with coaching today, I know a coach who's perfect for you. And I do. You're all here on this call. I know so many coaches. Just because you might not be the coach for someone, it doesn't mean that there isn't a coach for them. So that's typically the way that I handle it. But I don't take back the coaching session if I've offered it. I always make sure to do the coaching. Roland, were you going to ask
Yeah,
something?
I'm sorry.
You
Yes, I
good?
was clearing my throat. So, do you have a criteria as far as, um, to decide or to help you to assess whether this is the right client for you or not? Because I just started coaching, and from my standpoint, everyone is a good client.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
practice, what have you.
you're right.
Um,
You
and but do you have, like, these are like the 10 things or the 5 things that I
no.
look for? No.
So what I want to say, it's really two answers here. You're completely right. In the beginning, coach everybody. That's how you figure out who your client is, and that's how you figure out, is this the kind of client I want to work with or not? Now that I've been doing this for as long as I have, Nina is a perfect client for me. I really think we actually should work together. Like she's an excellent client for me. This is who I work with day in and day out, and who I know my clients are. They're ambitious. They're typically A-type personalities. They're people who have big feelings. They often struggle with anxiety, but they have a bias towards action. They have a bias towards action. It's not their first rodeo as far as being through something hard in life. That's who I work with. She fits every single one of those things. So that's just my frame. I knew from the questions that I asked her and her answers. The other thing is that my requirements are part of what weed people out. The readiness. A lot of times after I ask the question about, what's your readiness level? Only you know everything that you have on your plate. Sometimes people self-select that, actually, if things changed right now, it would be really hard. Like I'm in a season of my own life. I have something that I want to do, but I had to tell the person I want to do it with, I cannot do it until February 1st. I have
Mhm.
so many circumstances right now that I will not be able to give it the attention that I want to for the kind of money investment that it is until then. So it's the same thing. I find out about the readiness and then commitment level. I put it all on her that you're the one that has to do it. I'm not going to be able, I can't make any of these things happen for you. You have to do it. Sometimes it's the commitment level that freaks them out and they're a no. And then sometimes it's after the coaching, but that's what my requirements are, that it's like, if my intuition is saying yes, if the person is speaking about things that are exciting to me, if they really are ambitious and A-type and fast moving, that's my client. Like I just know it. I've done it so many times at that point. So you're going to learn, but in the beginning, coach everyone. It's such good practice. And as coaches, we can coach anyone who is willing to be coached.
No, that was great. And also it seems that it's a way to build the agreement, the contract, with the potential client, where they have an understanding of, what's their involvement, what's their bandwidth, and they can assess it on their own as well.
That's
So no,
right.
that was very helpful. Thanks.
Good,
I
good.
had to tell you, this has been one of the most practical. I mean, I've taken quite a few sessions now,
Yeah.
and this has been very, very helpful, very grounded, very practical, but also inspiring. So I just want to thank you beforehand.
Oh, you're welcome, Roland. Lindsay actually had a good idea. He said you need a demo with them. And I thought, oh, okay, I can demo. And so this is what we're doing today. I'm always happy to serve in whatever way makes the most sense for everybody. Yeah. Thanks, Roland. Layla, go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to share this that I got as an insight when we've spoken in the past, and also when I've spoken to Tom from our executive coaching SIG, because I coach a lot of leaders and often they're super busy. And so what I started doing too in these qualifying conversations is talking about the expectation of how much time commitment they'll have to have
Mm-hmm.
per week. And I put that in their proposal or whatever we're talking about. So the commitment also is, we've agreed and talked about, you will have to commit a specific amount of time, whatever that engagement looks like. But I talk about that up front because people often want the result, but are they really thinking through, how do you have an hour a week? not only for or biweekly, whatever it might be, per that time frame you want to do coaching. And I ask them now, instead of suggesting, I'm asking what they can do so we can see if we can evolve and get those results together. And then there's also the implementations of the work, like what Gretchen is saying, that I've rooted into my practices. They've got to be able to do the commitment to get the results they want. Are they willing to do it? Are they, whatever that is, if it's an hour a week, are they willing to do it? So Roland, that's one of the things I started implementing a few months ago that's been really helpful for me. And I've had some people have to have a, come to Jesus conversation with themselves to say, I actually don't have that time right now. It's going to cause me more stress, and you can't do it to check the box. This has got to be ingrained work you really want to do. So I wanted to share that because that was an evolution in my practice that's helped me. And that has absolutely helped me root out people who are not ready now. But however, 3 of them have circled back when they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or have conversations. So, and I thank Gretchen for that and thinking deeper. So I wanted to share that role about part of my criteria, if it helps. Will do you or anyone else today?
Yeah. And Layla, thank you for that. Let's talk about the circling back, and then Galen, I see your hand. Here's the deal with that is sometimes it's not right now, but it doesn't mean it's not later. When I tell my price to people and like they're like really taken aback, I will let them know I am not always the coach that you're going to work with the first time. I'm not. Completely okay. Here are some other coaches that have different price points that are still good coaches, and go and work with them. Go do a few rounds of coaching with somebody else and work up to working with me. Work up to it. Sometimes people have to work up the courage because they know when they're going to coach with me, like, you're committed. We're doing this. Like, I'm not here to just do accountability with you. I don't even care about that part. For me, the part I care about is who are you being in the world? What's really going on here? So people have to work up to it. It's completely okay. And then sometimes you get a yes, and they're really a yes from the get-go. But seed planting, every single one of these connection call conversations that you have, it plants seeds. You don't know when they're going to come to fruition. And oftentimes, even when I do say to people like, hey, might not be the coach for you right in this moment, what will happen is they'll say, oh no, I don't want you to refer me to anybody else. It's like that. No, I do know I want to work with you. I want to figure out how. Okay, Galen.
So first, I just want to say thank you. This has been really helpful today, just being able to watch your structure and how efficiently you do it, and still staying in the moment and everything. Been really helpful. And I was curious about when she asked about price. You said I want to find out more about what you're wanting. I was, and then she was able to really clearly just say what she wanted. She had obviously thought about it. If the person that you're sitting with maybe gives you kind of a generalized answer, or hasn't been really clear about what they want, I'm curious what you might ask to, or if you even would try and probe deeper to get that.
I'm happy to role play that if you'd like.
I have a good answer for this one. Thanks, Nina. So here's the thing. The reason that I send out the questions beforehand is to see how muddled their thinking is. Do they already know? And then if they don't answer the questions, then one of the things that happens is they're probably not ready for coaching. They're not going to get on my calendar. When I am talking to them the way that I was her, and she had no time to prepare. She did not know she was my demo. She's ready to coach. That's the truth. I am looking for that kind of level of readiness to coach with people. When people don't really know what they want, it means that I have not asked deep enough questions yet to draw it out. So at the beginning, you were all tasked with what's her vision? Listen for her vision. You need to be asking questions around that the entire time so that you get to the deep enough point. I asked her, what does she really want in 2025? I got to ask her, tell me about some of your mindsets. What's hard? And that's where we got to it. So those are some questions that you can ask to go deeper with a client, and then to help them to reveal, like, what is it that you think you want? Now, sometimes potential clients, they don't know what they want as far as like time frame or that sort of thing. Nina's a coach, so she's used to this kind of uh, like parameters of what it is we do in coaching. If it's someone who's not a coach, I don't typically ask a question like, well, what were you thinking? And I will give a recommendation. Hey, from everything you said, I think 6 months is where we should start. So there's two ways to do it there. that make sense?
Think so. Yeah.
Tell me what you're
Yeah.
still wondering. You have your thinking face.
Um, well, I think I'm clear that like you can do a lot of the work by asking powerful questions up front. And then if they don't have like first off in the email that you send in the qualifiers there, if they don't have super clear answers there, then that kind of tells you something. But then in the session too, again, you're finding out their vision. If it's not clear all along the way, um, again, that kind of tells you where they're at.
Exactly.
So it makes me think about the wanting question that in some ways that feels like a general term to me, but I think the way you're using it specifically was the structure, right? Like how do you want this to look, the coaching experience to look? Is that right?
And exactly. I usually do not ask that. I asked her because she's a coach. She's a coach. She
Okay.
coaches people. She needed a little someone to listen to recordings. She needed a little of something over here. She needs a little business development. She's worked with a coach before, so she's not new to it. That's why I asked her, what were you already thinking? How do you want this to look?
So I guess my follow-up question is, if she wasn't a coach and
Would ask
so
that.
they asked you, what's your price?
Mhm.
Rather than moving on to, well, what are you wanting? What would your next step be then?
Then I'd say, I'm really glad that you asked. First, let me go over my requirements with you. And then I do
Okay.
are you ready? Are you committed? And let's coach. And if they still ask what's your price, I tell them, right now, my highest recommendation would be, and I just start with 6 months with most people. We
Okay.
coach for 6 months, but I won't know until we coach. So let's hold off on that until we do.
Got it. So that makes total sense. You go right to the qualifying parts. Or
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
my requirements that qualify them, are they a good
Right.
fit? Are they ready?
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to try to get to these last three questions. We have 11 minutes. We actually have more like 9 minutes because Lindsay has to come back on. So we're going to do these fast. Jacoba, did I say your name right?
You did. Thank you very much for this really informative, great session. I've gotten on initial calls with people and it's sometimes tended to go on and on and on. And so my question is, how much time do you schedule for it? And how do you do when someone tries to turn it into like they're dumping everything on you and turning it into a full coaching session?
So that has to do with your frame. You have to let them know in the setup what's going to happen. So I told her, hey, here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to ask you a few things about what it is that you want, get to know you a little bit. And this is a 30-minute conversation. I'm done at the 30-minute mark. Once in a while, we might go to 40, but almost always we're done at 30. And if I want to go further with them, then I offer them that coaching session. And when they're wanting to dump everything on you, the way that you can avoid that is by having those pre-questions. If you have the pre-questions, you get to say, hey, I read through your answers. Tell me a little bit more about X, Y, and Z. And just like in coaching, if you have a client who is very verbal, you might want to say, due to our time today, I'm wondering, let's laser focus in. What's your billboard on this? What's the most important thing that I need to know? So those are ways that you could just help to manage a client.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Amy.
Trying to unmute. So this is just an observation, not even a question, Gretchen. And I love the way you handled everything. And I think what it brings up for me is sort of also piggybacking on what Roland said was that, it's that tension between you don't want to lose them from a client as a client. So you don't want to ask those questions because you don't want to scare them away. But on the other hand, you also don't want to be stuck with a client that's not committed, right? And so it's getting over that angst and, wanting to take on somebody just because you don't want to turn them away, right? And give up any potential money. But on the other hand, the other part of that is, but if they're not committed to it and they're not going to do it, it's not going to work anyway, So it's just gaining that, I don't even want to say it's confidence, but it's gaining that insight that that's the way you want to actually, move forward.
Sure. And there's choices in that. This is the friction point. This is the part where you decide that you are in your most professional self and that as a professional, these are your requirements. This is what it is. And why not do it up front instead of you are doing the thing where you're just following up and trying to see if they're interested, those sorts of things. It will just keep you in the most professional position the whole time. Anything else there?
No, not for me. Good.
Okay, amazing. Julia, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I think my question will be a bit similar with Amy, um, but a little bit different, which is even if the client is not ready for commitment or the fees, if we want to keep the client by knowing that this client gonna be a potential client in the future, even in the near future, how will you close the call to keep her as a potential client?
So one of the things that I like to do with that is I think about what kind of a resource do I have that I can send to them? So just like today, I have a resource for all of you. I've already dropped it in here. Maybe one day you'll all work with me, maybe you won't, but this is a resource. In the future, you might come back. So think of what kind of resource do you have that you can send. Also, check in 3 months. I typically will check in with people in 3 months and say, how did it go with? And that's whatever the thing is that they said that they wanted. How's it going with this thing? Because sometimes, it's October. In October, they're thinking about the holidays and whatever it is. They don't want to make that kind of investment. But if it's next May, and they still have not done anything that they said they wanted to do, they might decide, you know what? I actually do need a coach. Coaching would be beneficial. Does that help, Julia?
Yes,
Yeah.
sounds good, and it's nice tips. Thank you.
Yeah. And I'll just tell you guys something else too. So I have a lot of things. So I'll just tell you for coaches, because you're all coaches. I've got a free coaching for coaches group where I do a training like this once a month. It's free. It's outside of ICF, but it's something that I do. It's a way to keep a coaching community together and to be of service. Maybe the people end up being in some of my other programs. Maybe they don't, but it's okay. Then I have a really small program for coaches. That's a lower price point. Then I have a little bit larger of a program that has some group and individual. Then I have my mentorship program. So there's a lot of places for people to drop in. Nina and I have been talking for a long time. We have not worked together. Maybe one day we will, but she has been part of these different resources. All of you coming here, I hope that when you think of a coach, you might think, you know what, Gretchen, I think knows what she's talking about. Maybe I should reach out to her. But when people are afraid of your number, that's not about you and what you're charging. That's about them and their money mindset and their circumstances. Helpful for everybody? Okay, so let's drop a bunch of your, let's do this. Drop a bunch of your takeaways in the chat because Lindsay needs to come back on. Lindsay, thank you for telling me to do a demo. This was such a win. Lindsay mentors me all the time and tells me like, hey, do this, do that. He's great. And so that's why it's also nice to work in a team. Coaches need coaches all around them. This was a great session. I want you all to take something from this and put it into action before I see you next time. And please download that resource because it has the different scripts that I was talking about, different ways like do this, now do this, now do this. It's going to help you. I put my email in there for you too. Maybe there's something that you want to talk about, but please feel like you can reach out to me. Okay, everybody. Much love to you all.